afterwards, after lunch. And then we'll move on with our next area, looking at services. And I'd like to introduce Ian Thompson, who's a consultant on one laptop per child with the Faculty of Arts, Law and Education, and was instrumental, one of the 6, I think, original sort of founders of introducing one laptop per child in the Pacific. Ian,
thank you, and in light of the ongoing technical difficulties here, I'm going to do this without a PowerPoint slide, okay? Yeah. So, I first of all, a quick introduction for those of you who don't know me. I'm joined the university very recently. I've been here for 3 weeks, so I'm a little bit overawed about that. And secondly, I'm an engineer, right? I've never been in academia before in my life. So I'm a little nervous standing up here talking to all you academics. but I do have a lot of experience. In the last 6 years, I've been working in the Pacific Islands, around all of the Pacific Islands, talking about the use of ICT, not just in education, but generally in e-government and in health and those areas. One of the projects I started with fairly early was the One Laptop Per Child project, and I'm glad to report now that USP has taken that on board and is doing a lot of good, really healthy support work to help ministries of education work through the issues of gaining the full potentials of One Laptop Per Child, but also in addressing some of the issues. So for those that haven't seen it before, here's one. I guess in just general terms, I'd have to say this is a purpose-built laptop designed for primary school children in developing countries. So I want to be quite clear about that. It's not a normal laptop that's been cut down or trimmed back or anything else like that. So it has many excellent design features about it that makes it appropriate for use in the Pacific Islands. It was designed by MIT, the guys at Massachusetts Institute of Technology, and they looked around the world to see what laptops were available to try and do this work, and they couldn't find one. So they decided to design one themselves. The project started about 5 years ago. Globally now there's 2.5 million of these that have been deployed all around the world in something like 70 different countries. So we're learning quite a lot of really interesting information about what's happening with this project. Some of the things that we have learned is that change is coming a lot more slowly than we expected. And it's made us really understand that the purpose of the project is not about the laptop. So we're refocusing our attention now to say this is just a tool. It's one of many tools. For example, the iPad was a tool, the interactive whiteboard. This is just another tool. What we've found from our experiences is that the teachers need a lot more support to develop and use these tools. So we are spending a lot more time now in developing training for teachers to get them on board, to bring them to understand the impacts of the technology and how that affects them in the classroom, how that affects their pedagogy, how that affects students' learning. So the big ambition is to use this as a tool to radically change the way students learn. And they use the catchphrase about learning how to learn. So in Fiji, for example, we're starting at the beginning of next year a pilot project with 800 laptops and 3 schools, very close to the university here, where we'll be trialling these for 12 months. The Ministry of Education here has adopted a plan now for a 5-year rollout of these laptops, and their target is in 5 years, 50% of all schools will have one of these laptops in the primary school areas. And each school will be connected to the internet as well. Now their focus is towards rural schools because they see that those are being disadvantaged both in terms of resources that they have there but also the skills of the teachers. So it's a very, very deliberately focused towards rural areas. When I was thinking about making this presentation, I was really wondering why I was asked to come up and talk to you about that, because we're really talking about primary school stuff here. So I really wanted to just say the challenge to the university is what happens when these kids come into university? So, for example, the VC this morning talked about the Khan Academy videos. When we deploy these laptops, we put a server in the school and the server has all 3,000 Khan Academy videos. So let's assume the kids actually learnt something from that. So when they come into the university now, what do you think they're going to know? It's going to be very different from what they know today, because each student will be able to tailor their own learning experience and reach a particular stage of learning, so that when they come into the university, you may be teaching them stuff that they learned 5 years ago. So I just really wanted to wrap up with a little bit of a note about that, saying there are some challenges coming forward in looking at what this project is going to mean to the university. And I wanted to leave with a plea to say, please guys, you're the guys that know how to research this stuff. Please get out there and research this stuff. Find out what's going on. Find out what it's going to do to your students when they come through, and how that's going to affect what happens in the university. If you want to come and have a chat with me about this, I'm available in the e-learning centre, which you may remember as the Pride Centre, but I'm there if you want to pop in and have a talk about e-learning. I'm done. Thank you very much.